So, hello students. Today we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is synthesis of drug, which is very commonly used, which is your module 4, and the lecture number is 32. Yeah, so this is our course name. The subject name is chemistry. The subject code is CH101 or 201. The credit is 3 and the contract hour is 35. So these are the some of the course objective that we have. The concept developed in this course will aid in quantification of several concepts in chemistry that have been introduced at your 10+2 level in schools. Technology is being increasingly based on the electronic molecular level and the modification. So these are the some of the outcome, that course outcome we have. After finishing this course, you can describe the fundamental properties of atoms and molecules. You can also describe the atomic structure and the periodicity of the elements in the periodic table. You can also apply the fundamental concepts of thermodynamics in different engineering applications. You can apply the knowledge of water quality parameters, corrosion control, and polymers. You can use different polymers. You can synthesize different polymers, which is used in different industries. Okay. You can able to determine the structure of organic molecules using different spectroscopic technique also, and at last you are able to synthesize some of the products, that is drug molecules. You can know how to synthesize the drug molecules in the industrial scale. So these are the some of the course outcome that we have for our course. Next, this is the lecture plan for today's class, that is the synthesis of commonly used drug molecule, and for this we have the one lecture. Very few you have in your syllabus. So today we are going to discuss about the first definition of drug. What do you mean by drug molecules? Okay. Next we will see what are the classification of drug molecules. Next we will discuss how to synthesize the paracetamol, aspirin. These are two very commonly used drugs that we regularly use. Okay, if we have the fever, if we have the headache, if we have the cough and cold, so for all this case we can use the paracetamol or aspirin. So these are the very commonly used drug molecule that we use in our regular life. Okay, so we will see how we can synthesize this paracetamol molecule, how we can synthesize this aspirin. Okay, what are the use of this paracetamol, what are the use of this aspirin, that also we will see. So these are the some of the topics of today's class. Okay, so next the drug molecules. So how we will define what are the drug molecules? Generally, drugs are chemical substances that affect or alter the physiology when taken into a living system. They can either be natural, the drug molecules we can get from the nature also, like from plants extract, some other trees extract. Okay, so also, or we can synthesize in the laboratory. Okay, so drugs are generally two types, one is natural drug and one is synthetic. Okay, so there are so many plants we have from where we can get the different types of drug molecules. We can extract from that plants. Okay, chemically they are low atomic mass and molecular mass structure. Generally drug molecules, if you check the basic molecules of the drugs, you can see they are very low atomic mass and molecular mass structure. They are also having the molecular mass structure, as they have to be biocompatible, and they should be absorbed in our cell, in our system rapidly. So for this, they should have the atomic mass lower and molecular mass structure is also lower. When a drug is therapeutically active and is used for the diagnosis, the treatment or prevention of a disease, it is called the medicine. Okay. So these are the some of the differences between drugs and medicines we have. They target the macromolecules inside the body and generate a biological response. Okay. So most of them interrupt the nervous system, especially the brain, for the generation of proper biological response. However, they can be toxic in higher doses and generally referred to as the with the higher doses. So generally that's why after taking the drugs, any type of drug, first we should have the prescription of the doctor's prescription, or we should follow the instructions of the doctors, because they're also having some of the toxic effects, and also they're having some of the effects on our nervous system, especially our brain. Okay, so that is why before taking any type of drug molecules, any type of drugs, we should have follow the instructions of our physician, general physician. Okay. So the acetyl salicylic acid, tarbutaline, penicillin, these are the some of the molecules, these are the some of the examples, okay, of the drug molecules, right? Okay, so this is the types of drugs that we have. This is the classification, you can say this is the classification of drugs, that is anti-hemorrhoid drugs. Okay, so next we have topical antibiotics, cough. Next we have anti-acne drugs. Okay, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, antiseptics, analgesics, and salicylates. So these are the some of the types of drugs that we have, and we can synthesize as well as we can get these drugs from the nature also. Okay, and sometimes this may happen from the nature. Whatever drug molecules we are getting, we are just deriving, we are enhancing that drug molecule with some functional groups, so that the efficiency of the drug molecules, the beneficial utility of the drug molecule can be increased. Okay, so these are the some of the classifications that we have. Okay, here these are the some of the common drugs that we generally use regularly, like paracetamol, amoxicillin, okay, metronidazole. Next we have like quinine. Okay, so these are the dextrose solution, the saline solution, normal saline infusion, normal saline solutions. Okay, diclofenac. So these are the multivitamin. These are the some of the drugs molecules that we generally take. And here I have given the structure also, examples, that this is the structure of amoxicillin. This is the structure of quinine. This is the structure of quinidine. This is structure of metronidazole. Okay, so and this is the structure of paracetamol, which is important for your syllabus, because the synthesis of paracetamol and aspirin that you have only in your syllabus. This is the paracetamol moiety. Okay, so this is thiamine, right? So thiamine, why? Because we have the amine molecule, amine functional group, and also the thio group, the sulfur atom also are there, so that is called by thiamine. Okay, riboflavin also very known molecules, known drug that we have. Okay, so this is the total structure of the riboflavin. So these are the some of the drugs that we generally use for the headache, for fever, for some of the bacterial infections. So for all these cases we use the drug molecules. Okay, next we will see how we can synthesize these aspirin molecules. So aspirin, actually aspirin, the name of the aspirin, the chemical name of the aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. Okay, acetyl salicylic acid. So from this portion you can have this type of question like how you can synthesize acetyl salicylic acid, or how you can synthesize, how can we synthesize the aspirin. So if we are if in question the aspirin can be mentioned or cannot be mentioned, so from that question you have to follow that acetyl salicylic acid, either it is aspirin or either it is paracetamol. So all these things you have to follow very properly. You have to check the question properly, whether the question is asked for the acetyl salicylic acid or aspirin or the paracetamol. Okay, so aspirin is a synthetic organic derived from the salicylic acid. All we know, and we use the lab, in the lab also, the salicylic acid. Okay, salicylic acid is a natural product found in the bank of the willow tree and was used by the ancient Greeks and Native Americans, among others, to encounter the fever and pain. Why we have the fever? Why we have the pain? In previous time, what will happen? They are taking this natural salicylic acid. Okay, from the willow tree. They are using actually the willow tree, the plants of the bank of the willow tree. Okay, so that is very helpful for the fever and pain. However, salicylic acid is bitter and irritate the stomach. So the taste of the salicylic acid is bitter, and it can also, if we take the higher amount of salicylic acid, it can irritate the stomach. So that's why before taking any type of drugs, we should we should follow the instruction of the doctor, that how much we should take. Okay, a German chemist named Felix Hoffmann is credited with being the first to synthesize aspirin in 1897. You can imagine 1897. That time they have Hoffmann, the scientist Hoffmann, have discovered, has synthesized the aspirin. Hoffmann's father had severe arthritis but could not tolerate the salicylic acid he was taking for pain relief. So, actually, what is the history behind this synthesizing of aspirin? Actually, Hoffmann's father had severe arthritis, and for that he had to take the salicylic acid, and which he cannot tolerate. So, as a pain relief. So, as I told you, for taking the high dose of the salicylic acid, this can also irritate the stomach. So, he could not bear the pain. Okay, could not tolerate the salicylic acid. For that, Hoffmann has synthesized the aspirin in 1897. The name given for the Hoffmann's new compound was aspirin. Okay, apparently this comes from acetylation. Yeah, A means acetylation. If we while we will see the mechanism, how the aspirin is synthesized. There we have to use some of the that time you can understand why he has used the term, that is A. Okay, so A for acetylation. This is actually the reaction of the acetylation. Okay. And together with spirin, part of the name of meadowsweet plant rich in salicylates. Okay, so Friedrich Bayer, one more scientist, the employer of Hofmann, patented the name and began marketing of the product in 1899. Actually, Hofmann has synthesized, and the employer of that scientist, one of the employer of the scientist, Friedrich Bayer, this employer had patented the name and began marketing the product in 1899. It was a huge success and sales grew rapidly. Okay, so an excess of acetic anhydride is added to a measured mass to the salicylic acid in presence of catalyst and sulfuric acid. Now we will see what will be the mechanism. Okay, how we can synthesize the aspirin molecule. Yeah, so this is the after all the this is the synthesis of aspirin molecule. So first of all we have to use the salicylic acid, and this is the acetic anhydride. So salicylic acid and acetic anhydride will attach with each other and it will form the acetyl salicylic acid. As I told earlier that aspirin is also, the chemical name of the aspirin is acetyl salicylic acid. So you are also asked by this question like this: his synthesis, what will be the, how you can synthesize the acetyl salicylic acid? What are the use of acetyl salicylic acid? What is the usual name of the acetyl salicylic acid? So these are the some of the types of questions that you are frequently asked in your exam. So that's why you have to properly check the study material, properly follow the classes. Okay. So, in the synthesis of aspirin, an excess amount of acetic anhydride is added. This acetic anhydride we are taking in excess amount, and with the help and it will attach with the salicylic acid in presence of catalyst, that is sulfuric acid. Here we are using the sulfuric acid as for the catalyst. So, sulfuric acid is the catalyst, H2 SO4. This is the sulfuric acid. Okay. So the mixture is heated to form the acetyl salicylic acid. So after the mixing of acetic anhydride and salicylic acid, and also in presence of the sulfuric acid, we have to heat the mixture. What will happen after heating the acetyl salicylic acid? Actually the aspirin will form, and also acetic acid will form as a side product. This is the acetic acid. Okay, after the reaction takes place, the excess, mind it, we have taken the excess amount of acetic anhydride, and which is not healthy for us. So that acetic anhydride, that excess amount acetic anhydride, we have to remove. So for that we use lot of water is added to destroy the excess amount of the acetic anhydride, which is cause the product to crystallize. Okay. So after removal of the excess amount of acetic acid, that time acetyl salicylic acid only can be crystallized. Okay, we have to crystallize our product. The aspirin is then collected and purified by the recrystallization. Okay, whatever acetyl salicylic acid now we are getting from the synthesis from the lab, that we have to first of all to purify. Okay. So first that aspirin will be collected and purified by recrystallization again and again. We have to recrystallize acetyl salicylic acid again and again, so that all the undesired product will be removed, and that can be and this acetyl salicylic acid can be purified and we can take as a drug, and its melting temperature will be measured, and after that that acetyl salicylic acid is the melting point will be measured, and also some of the characteristic characteristics we have to measure to check either the acetyl salicylic acid can be purified completely or not. Okay. Okay, so this is the mechanism. What will happen? This is salicylic acid, right? Okay, so what will happen? First of all, the lone pair of this phenol will attack this carbon atom. This is the acetic anhydride. Okay, this lone pair will attack the carbon atom, and it will attach with the with this carbon atom, which will the and this after that this bond will break. Look here, and this bond will break, and it will form CH3COO minus, right? Then after abstraction of the hydrogen, then this the CH3COO minus will become the acetic acid, and it will form this type of acetyl salicyldehyde, and that is called by the aspirin. This is the structure, total structure of the aspirin. Okay, and this is the reaction mechanism. Also, you may be asked by this, how you will synthesize the aspirin. Discuss about the mechanism. Discuss about the mechanism of the aspirin, and that time you have to just write down this equation. Okay, so this is the overall the mechanism to synthesize of the aspirin. Okay, now what are the use of aspirin? Aspirin, all we know that is it is used to treat the pain and fever. Aspirin is also used generally when we have the headache. Generally that time we are taking the aspirin. Okay, we take the aspirin. So aspirin is also used long term at low doses to help prevent heat attacks, strokes, the blood clot formation in people at high risk of developing the blood clot. So people, those who have the problem regarding this risk of blood clotting, so for that case also aspirin can be beneficial for us. Okay, aspirin may be effective at preventing the certain types of cancer, particularly the colorectal cancer. Okay, the rectal cancer. If we have the rectal cancer, so that aspirin may take for this cancer. Over the counter pain relief, especially for the headache. As I told you, generally if we have the headache, that time we usually take the aspirin. So these are the some of the use of aspirin. Okay, next we will discuss about the synthesis of the paracetamol. Paracetamol also again very commonly used drug. Generally we have some fever, cough and cold. Okay, for that we also take the paracetamol. But again and again I am telling you, before taking this we should follow the instruction of the doctor, or we should first check the check from the we should check ourselves from the doctors, and then take some advice from him, because that will be suitable for us, and that will be because high doses of these drugs if we take regularly, and this will have the detrimental effect on our nervous system. Okay, so that is why every time while we take any type of drug, we should follow the follow our doctor's instruction. Okay, paracetamol also known as acetaminophen or APAP, okay, is a medicine that is used to treat the pain and fever. It is typically used for mild to moderate pain relief. Evidence for its use to relieve the fever in children is mixed. So paracetamol is made by reacting 4-aminophenol. Look here, this is the substrate that we are using, that is 4-aminophenol. This is the phenol. At the para position we have this is the first of all this is the para nitrophenol, right? So after the reduction it will make the amine group. So this is called 4-aminophenol. Okay, So first of all, this nitrophenol, para-nitrophenol will reduced by the sodium borohydride and it will form the para-amino nitrophenol, and then it will attach with acetic anhydride and forming the paracetamol by reacting 4-aminophenol with ethanoic anhydride. Ethanoic anhydride, that is the acetic, more commonly used as the called by the acetic anhydride. Okay, when the reaction is complete, the paracetamol is isolated again. While we have the complete synthesis of the paracetamol, then after that we have to purify that paracetamol, because there are so many undesired products also formed. So after formation of this paracetamol, we should isolate this paracetamol from other undesired products and also purify it. Okay, also we need the purification. Okay, so this is the general mechanism how the paracetamol can be synthesized. First of all, we have to take the phenol. Okay, the basic molecule, that is phenol. Phenol with the help of dilute H2SO4 and sodium nitrate. So what will happen after this reaction, we can have this type of two products. One is orthonitro phenol and one is para-nitrophenol. Among these, para-nitrophenol is useful for making the para-aminophenol. So with this para-nitrophenol, it is reduced to the sodium borohydride. Sodium borohydride as the reducing agent, a strong reducing agent. So this strong reducing agent will what now will reduce this nitro group to the amine group. Okay, so this is para-aminophenol. After that, this para-aminophenol will react with the acetic anhydride and it will form the the paracetamol molecule. Okay, so this is our paracetamol molecule. Yeah. So what are the use of paracetamol? You generally know, if we have the fever. Now what will happen? It is widely prescribed to relieve fever in person for all ages. Okay, paracetamol can be used for the fever, for treatment of the fever. Pain, it is also the pain relief. Okay, the pain can be relieved by this paracetamol also. Osteoarthritis, some studies state that paracetamol is useful for this disease also. Lower back pain, if we have the lower back pain, that is for that case also we can take the paracetamol. If we have the headache, if we have the toothache, so these are all the cases for which we can have the paracetamol. We can take the paracetamol. If we have cold and cough, flu pain, so for this case also we can use the paracetamol. Okay. Yeah, so this is all about the synthesis of aspirins and synthesis of the paracetamol molecule. Okay, so I have given here one question to check whether you have understood all the things whatever I have discussed today or not. So the question is, what are the reagents? What are the reagents do we need to synthesize the aspirin? So your time starts now. Yeah, so your time is over and you are absolutely right. For synthesis of aspirin, aspirin means we have to synthesize this aspirin. That means we should have the acetic anhydride, right? The salicylic acid, and as a catalyst we should also have the sulfuric acid. So with the help of these three reagents, we can synthesize the aspirin, which is vastly used for the pain relief, and also if we have the headache, if we have the fever also, for these cases also we can use the aspirin. Okay, so this is a recapitulation of today's topic. So today we have discussed about the definition of drug check. Then we have discussed about the classification, what are the types of drugs that we have. Also we have discussed the synthesis of paracetamol, how we can synthesize this paracetamol, and also we have discussed how we can synthesize the aspirin, and also now we have discussed the use of paracetamol and use of the aspirin also. What are the cases that we can have this paracetamol, we can take the paracetamol, and what are the cases that we can take the aspirin molecule, aspirin drug, so that also we have discussed. So generally from this part, from this portion you can have this type of question: discuss about the synthesis of aspirin, discuss about the use of aspirin, okay, discuss about the synthesis of paracetamol, discuss about the use of paracetamol. So what are the types of drugs molecule we have, how you can define the drugs, what are the differences between drug molecule and medicines, okay. So these are the very general questions that you are frequently asked from this chapter. So please follow the class and do the assignment whatever I have given, and submit it, try to submit it in time. So thank you students, and see you in the next class.